Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to a Some Assemblage Required video along with Scraptember, which is a patterned paper prompt. It is also one of the prompts for Mixed Media Mayhem today, as well as vellum and fiber. So I will be using all three items as well as a bunch of stuff from Some Assemblage Required today. So I'm doing a double page layout, which is not usually my go-to for a mixed media layout, but I have a lot of photos and I want to make sure they get documented. So I am using some different colors of Shimmerz paint on my layout. The background paper, I believe, is close to my heart paper. I want to say it is a craft paper with white, like a white textured look on it. I don't know what the actual texture is called, but it's got like a textured look. You can kind of see there's like some stripes in it, but it's not striped. It's more like a textile look. The colors that I am using for my Shimmerz paints are Witch's Blue, Lapis Dance, and I will have to put the other one in the link, you guys. I cannot remember. I think it's Blue Lagoon. So yeah, the greener of the two is Blue Lagoon, but the others are Lapis Dance and Witch's Blue. So I started out by spreading it out in the two far corners. And I wasn't really crazy about that. So I went with this more splattered look, and my photos are going to end up covering up all of the stuff that is kind of painted on, with of course the exception of the edge that I am currently doing with the Blue Lagoon paint. And I like that because it's bringing in a little bit more of a turquoisey teal color. I've got beach photos that I'm working on today of the little girl that I take care of. I have some chipboard here from Dusty Attic. This came in the August kit, or the August box from Some Assemblage Required. So there's a monthly embellishment box. It comes with a variety of things, usually has a stencil, chipboard, wood veneer, acrylic, and then a couple of other odds and ends. Sometimes it's a fiber, sometimes it comes with some tickets, and sometimes there's usually flair in there. Tickets, flair. Oh my goodness, you guys. There's actually quite a bit in there. All of those things. And then there's sometimes charms and sometimes something else. The charms are not always something that's in there, but I think something usually metal. So anyway, lots of goodies. And I am just pulling all of the chipboard out here. I have also gone to my silhouette to create my title. My title is Day at the Beach, or actually it's just At the Beach. And I cut that in white. I used an alpha that I got from Creative Fabrica. I don't remember the name of the alpha. I will put that link down below for you though, in case you're interested in purchasing it. And I cut the offset or the outline in white, which is the back piece, and then the rest of it I cut in this blue, really light blue vellum, which is quite old. It's from Mrs. Grossman's. I've had it for many, many, many years, at least 12 years, and I really just like the hint of blue that it brings to this layout. And then I am using some Catherine Pooler ink in Juniper Mist to darken up the words at the. So I'm kind of being careful not to bring it down onto the B, E, or A of beach. I just want at the darker, because of course I don't have any vellum for that. And then my Juniper Mist was not going on as dark as I wanted or giving me the right tone that I wanted. So I decided to go ahead and pull in some of the Witch's Blue, or Lapis Dance, which I'm not sure which one I'm actually using there, because they are very similar. And on screen I can't read it from here because my screen is very tiny when I do my videos, you guys, so I can't actually see that. Then I added a little bit of the Blue Lagoon to kind of bring in a little bit of a teal color, which is kind of mirroring what the paper is. It's like a light turquoisey blue, and so there is a little bit of green in that. And there are little beach cutouts, so the bee has some underwater like kelp in the bottom left hand corner, and so does the E, and then there is a fish for the whole of the top part of the B. There's a little eel on the top of the E. They're kind of hard to see on screen unless you've got your screen quite large, but you will see them in the close-ups, and they show up just fine in the real layouts in person. So I have this fiber that I really love. It has come in the favorite fibers that MK has on her website, although she is currently sold out of it. But I decided I needed to use it on this layout. I think it's really beautiful, and it looks a lot like a net in the sea, or even kind of has that, I don't know, I guess it looks most like a net. It's really cool though. I think it's neat. I am cutting the flat edge off of it because I want it to have a little movement and to look a little more natural, have more of an organic line to it than a straight line across the bottom of my layout. The other piece is going to be at the top. And so I have positioned my photos into the two corners, and I really like the way that this looks. I apologize that you can't see any of the kids' faces or anything like that because for privacy purposes I have to cover them up. But it's the little girl that I take care of and her three little besties that she would hang out with all the time. And I just think these photos are great photos. They go perfectly with this paper. They go perfectly with that fiber. And then I'm going to bring in a bunch of oceany sea type of pieces from MK's shop as well to finish out this layout. I'm just going to go ahead and use my ATG to go ahead and adhere all of these photos. I didn't feel like I need to use liquid glue because I only have the Shimmerz paint on here. There's no texture paste or anything like that. So I think my ATG is going to hold up to the mixed media that I've got going on. I'm using my liquid glue to hold down this fiber though, because it definitely is too holy to use an ATG or a tape runner of any sort. So liquid glue I felt was the best bet here. I don't even think I would try a hot glue because those little lines are so thin. I would probably have glue sticking out underneath all over. And I'm just butting that up to the edges because I definitely don't want them, I don't want to have to cut anything else. I want it to be straight along the top and the two sides. So that's kind of my plan. Now I'm just doing the other side, the exact same deal. And I did use my T-square ruler to line up my photos. Don't have the exact same configuration of photos on both sides. There is a full-size landscape and a full-size portrait photo, and then my other photos I think they vary just a tiny bit. So I was able to get them in the kind of the same format though, or the same general look on both sides, so they somewhat mirror each other, and I really like that. I think it looks really cute, and it's a lot of fun. The interesting thing here was I actually ended up putting two of my photos upside down. I had to switch them around. I did catch it before everything was done. I catch it pretty quickly here, but I did start to put them down upside down because I was in such a so focused on making sure everything was lined up. I wasn't even paying attention to the image that was in the photo to make sure it was right side up. But as you see here, I fixed it right away and it's no problem. All of my photos do have a white border around them. I do print them that way. And then if I have printed them and I have to cut them apart, usually there's still a white border around them, but for anything that the border is too narrow, I just back it with white paper. But these ones I was able to just go ahead and use the border that comes on with the Selfie app. So if you have a Selfie, you have the Selfie app plus the Canon app. You need both. And you choose bordered in the Selfie app, but not in the Canon app. it gives you a nice border that's not too wide on the photos, and it just looks really good. So at least in my opinion, it looks good. So now I'm going to go ahead and lay down my title. I do realize it's very light, but like I said, in person you can read it just fine. It's not a problem. I really like the splatters that are underneath it, and the addition of the darker letters for the two top words, and I think it looks really cute. When you see the close-ups, you're going to see that title a lot better, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. So now I'm bringing in more colors. I've had this really kind of a soft layout so far, but now I'm bringing in these acrylic pieces from MK's shop, and really like the peachy tones and those bright yellowy greens. They match the towel that she has. The turquoise also matches the towel and her clothes, or her swimsuit, and so I think these are going to work really well. I am going to have to paint that chipboard piece, so I will be doing that shortly. This is kind of a longer video because of that, but I don't make you sit through all of it, I don't think. And now I'm pulling out some tags from the Heidi Swap set sail collection to bring in more of that peach and some of the dark blue and some of the turquoise, because I didn't want to just have that bright peach coral piece. I wanted to make sure there was a little bit of that peachy color in other places. There are starfish that come in that color. Obviously, you can see them around my title work. And then there's one sitting on the chipboard, and I think that's going to work well. So now I am just using some white gesso. This is just heavy white gesso. I'm applying it with a sponge applicator. I just tap into the gesso, tap it off on my media mat, and then tap it all over the chipboard. That's going to kind of seal that chipboard, so there's a barrier between the chipboard and whatever I put on top of it, so that my colors will be more accurate. If I put something like a watercolor right on top of the chipboard, it just soaks right into the chipboard and you don't get much of the color. You do get the sparkle if it has a sparkle to it, but you don't get much of the chipboard. So now I am using some Nouveau mousse, and my mousse is fairly dry, so I just add water to it and I apply it like it is a paint. And so I'm going to use that, and I'm mimicking the colors of the seaweed that was in the acrylic set from MK. You can see the seaweed there with the coral and the seahorses, and so I wanted to bring in a little bit more of that color. Now I don't have a lot of that color in the title area, but I do have it in both of the clusters on each page, so I think that works. And now I'm bringing in more Nouveau mousse in this orangey color and in this cosmic brown. The cosmic brown, I brought that in, but I'm going to go over it with kind of another brown, and I'm trying to remember the name of that one. One is called, the second one is called mustard seed. It doesn't look like mustard, it's more brown. And then the orange one is called orange blush. And the yellow one is called, or the greeny yellow one is called citrus green. And then I also brought in some green Dilutions paint called Fresh Lime, and just kind of put those on top, and I really like the way this is turning out, you guys. I think I might have added a little purple mousse also, and I don't have that in front of me. I was going to try and tell you the name of that color, but I don't have it in front of me to tell you. It is packed because I'm headed to a retreat and I don't have it available. So using liquid glue to adhere all of this down because it is on top of that netting, so I definitely want to make sure it's going to stick. I am putting it next to the coral, not on top of, because I want to kind of limit how thick my layout is going to be, and so by adding it on top of the coral, it would make it a lot thicker. I am going to add a piece in between those two to kind of merge them together, but I didn't want to have 3 layers high if possible. 2 layers is plenty. Using some glue dots to adhere some of my pieces down, the ones that are not on top of the netting, I think I actually did use some glue dots on the netted pieces, but I ended up having to go back and add some liquid glue because it's just not enough surface that it is sitting on when it's just touching the net and not actually glued to the paper. So just sticking a little liquid glue to hold my tags together, since they're already in their little cluster and stuck under my photographs. That is an easy way for me to go ahead and do that. And then I do have a little bit of wiggle room, so I can play with them and move them around and make them fit the way that I want and make sure they're situated just perfectly for me. I do have a couple of pieces of chipboard that I did not paint to bring in more of the natural tone. One is a camera lens that I just tacked down, and then one is a seashell that is going in this cluster on the left hand page that I'm working on. And the reason I left those natural is because the netting is natural, so I want to bring in a natural element to those other two clusters so that it ties it all together. I've also got some turquoises, peaches in those areas, the darker blue. I've got a darker blue fish in each of the netted areas, some orangey fish, and yellow as well, just to tie it all together. And I really do like the way this is looking, you guys. It looks super cute. I think she's going to love it. I do have another beachy page that I am going to keep, but I think this one I'm going to give to her, and she's going to love it in her album. So in case you're not somebody who watches my channel all the time, I do work on pages for the kids that I take care of, because I spend a lot of time with them. I'm with her probably 35 hours a week, to 40 hours a week, although she is now started preschool, so I don't have her now. I have her baby brother. I still get to see her after school and days that she's off, but she is at preschool for the most part, so I don't see her regularly, and we don't get to do our outings, but I do have that to look forward to with her brother, and then on her vacations, and her sister's vacations. And I had her sister when she was a year old, so I've been with this family for quite some time. They are dear to me, and so that's why I do this for them. So it's my gift to them, and she really loves it. So, and she's super cute. She knows I'm going, when she knows I'm going to a retreat, she goes, "Are you going with your friends to go do your scrapbooking?" And I said, "Yeah, I am." She goes, "Okay." I can't, she can't wait to see the pages, and, she'll miss me while I'm gone. It's really cute. Anyway, there's my pages done, you guys. I hope you enjoy the close-ups there. Don't forget to check out Mixed Media Mayhem. There's a link to our Facebook group down below where you can see the inspiration in the album section and see what everyone else is doing playing along, and go and join that group if you are interested in that. And then there's a link to the playlist for Scraptember and links to all of the Some Assemblage Required products that I have used on this layout as well. There you get to see a good close-up of that title. I hope you enjoy that. Hit like and subscribe if you don't mind, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.